Yeah. Anything else that you want to add to this session of the vlogcast?
I would like to understand
Oh yeah.
how Carlos Vinicius has stayed on the pitch today.
What, with that slap?
Well, it was like an elbow punch to the back of the head.
On Thiago as well. While we're
In
talking about Thiago, yeah.
and it's one of the most unnecessary things that I've seen this season on the football pitch. It's I don't understand how the rules can be, oh, if you make a fair attempt at the ball, but you catch someone on the ankle, you win the ball, you catch someone on the ankle, you're a straight red. But just completely unnecessarily elbowing, like doing one of them on the back
Well,
of
yeah. I mean,
someone's like neck and head
talk about
is
hands being
fine.
in a natural position. I mean,
Yeah,
I know it's not to do with the ball, but it is to do with another player's head. You are right about the tackles. I mean, the whole stud showing thing. I think people do forget nowadays that it is a contact sport, but let's face it, that contact to the head was different. I mean, it wasn't horrific. I don't want to blow out of proportion,
no, but
but
it's also not. If you see some of the like people grabbing people around the throat that has happened recently, and people got sent off, like
well,
Rodri got sent off for one. Neither of them were like horrendously vicious and like GBH,
but
but you
even if
shouldn't be
you
doing it on a football pitch.
But
Like,
even if you press your head against somebody else's head when you're both squaring off, that's a red card, and that's not even a
yeah,
headbutt. That's a bump.
yeah,
Um,
I thought that was just bizarre
are you
in
calling that?
just how on the
Are you
pitch.
calling that another VAR blunder? Because on that they did actually come out after the Liverpool Spurs game a couple of days later. I think it was. No, it must have been yesterday. They they released that report of every mistake the VAR have made, and they actually said that the Cucurella one, where he got manhandled by his hair, was a mistake and should have been awarded a free kick before Spurs scored.
Well, Mike
Uh,
Dean even came out and said that. He
well,
said
yeah,
like,
true.
"Oh, I just didn't want
That
to
is
call him
true. I
over.
forgot that he
I
come
wanted
out
to
and said
protect my
that. Yeah,
mate." And I'm like, fellas,
yeah.
you're costing people jobs at this point.
Well,
Like,
actually,
if we win
he
that
was
game
actually
against
saving. Well,
Tottenham, does Tuchel stay in a job? I don't know, but it has to have contributed. And obviously, he didn't help himself with his reaction. But is his reaction anywhere near as bad if we don't get screwed by the ref? Probably not. So
I mean,
I think
I challenge any teammate or any manager not to get upset about that situation.
I do think Klopp handled it relatively well, actually. I know he gets a lot of
No,
stick,
absolutely.
but
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think he
yeah, yeah.
handled it pretty well.
I think
Um,
he's one of those people where I think 9 times, maybe 8, after the game, he actually composes himself quite well. Like he gets quite irate on the pitch. Like we've seen him run up to fourth officials and stuff. And fair enough, it's passion and stuff like that. I personally don't have a problem with it, but I can understand why they're trying to bring in a rule in saying like you can't do that. I do get it in terms of setting a standard. But as you said, there's nothing you can do. Like, all right, fair enough, they've come out and said it, but it doesn't change anything.
mm.
Like, and it's quite a difficult situation to be in some in some ways, because you get asked that question about that incident and you're going, well, cool, I thought it was onside. It was onside, but we don't get the points, which I think was actually a little bit. I think there was someone, as it I think it might have been the Gary Lineker, Alan Shearer, and Michael Richards podcast, where they said they realised it during the game that there was a mistake. So they could have done it at half time and pulled the managers in and gone, actually, like, there's been a mistake.
Mm.
The goal should have stood. Like, how do you guys feel about awarding the goal? Which would have been an interesting situation, to be fair.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's frustrating. I think now people are calling for VAR to go, and I'm just like, that's not doesn't make sense as an answer, because the same situation would have been in place. People still would have been as furious that they got the offside
Well,
wrong.
I remember when we one of the big arguments about not having VAR was they were worried that we would lose that side of the debate. Were they offside? Were they onside? Should this have happened? Should this not have happened? But realistically, with the rules constantly changing in a lot of areas of the game, the handball rules changed all the time over the last God knows how many seasons, you're always going to have that, especially with the way that they word them, you're always going to have that debate. Oh, should he have got, we had it a couple of weeks ago with I think both cases were with Romero for Spurs, where he did one against Arsenal and then he did one against a team the following week. I can't remember.
It was United.
Huh?
I think it was United.
Yeah. And it was literally this pretty much the same position he's in. He's
Almost
lunged
exactly
in, got bent leg. It looks like he's doing a lunge, right? Like a warm-up with his hand in the air. And then one was given, one wasn't. I think there was some slight differences, but nothing major. And it's that kind of stuff. It drives everyone crazy. So just to confirm, are you saying that the incident with Vinicius and Thiago Silva is a VAR blunder, or because they did check it? They did check it.
My problem is I don't know what the rules are. That's my problem. Because if you watch different games, and even some decisions in the same game, and try and understand what the rules are from that, I don't think you get there. So, in my eyes, if we are having a problem with putting hands on players, having a problem with choking players, having a problem with touching players' face, having a problem with someone getting the ball and then following through and catching someone on the ankle, I don't understand why you don't have a problem with whatever the elbow punch thing was in the back of the head. I mean, I've seen players get sent off for similar sort of elbows on people's backs and other things. I don't know if that should be a red, but
That
to
was
me,
going to be my next
with a common
question.
sense, it from a common sense thought, I don't know why that wouldn't be banned when all those other things are. It doesn't feel like it's in a different category.
Free kick. I think you could get a free kick for it. Like, it's nothing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it was okay, but I don't think it was horrific. It was unnecessary. It was clearly, you put your arms in the way of people and you're trying to get your body in front of the other person. I get that, but I do think it was excessive. Let's just say that. I think it was excessive. You could probably have got a yellow card for it, maybe, but definitely a free kick. But to be fair to Thiago, I don't think he made a big deal out of it. He was still trying to win the ball, and quite rightly so, because let's face it, if it wasn't a free kick, which it wasn't given.
It was given.
It was given.
Yeah, he gave a free kick.
Oh, I missed that bit. Sorry.
He just didn't give me yellow.
Fair. Well, look, at the end of the day, hypothetically speaking, then if he didn't give a free kick and he tried to appeal for one, then Vinicius could have been through on goal. So fair play to him.
But I just think there's no excuse for that challenge. I can make excuses for other challenges that have been a red this season, like the Curtis one at the weekend, where he is trying to just sort of trap the ball, drag it back. His foot bounces off the ball while he's getting a push, and that shoots him over the ball, and he nails someone on the ankle.
Who was that? Sorry,
the Curtis Jones one.
Yeah. But then
I think there's a lot of them where you're like, well, at least he's won the ball. He's made some contact. If Vinicius just pushes him, fine, free kick, no yellow, nothing. That movement and what he's done there is so unnatural. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know how you can make an argument for him where he isn't trying to do the player there. He's obviously trying to do Thiago Silva. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me what he's doing unless he's trying to put something on Thiago Silva, which is unnecessary.
No, I get what you're saying. I think it was, for me personally, as someone who was always a rather big child who had fuck all pace, I always used my body. And I think he was, he's just come on, they're 2-0 down. I think he was just trying to be physical. Now, don't get me wrong, that can go a little bit wrong. He does wave his arm out. I can't remember exactly the action that he did. It is high, it's definitely a free kick. But then again, like you said, I personally don't think the Gusto challenge should have been a red card. I get it to the letter of the law, the way they've written it. I'm like, yeah, it's a red card, but there's no malice in it. Like he's got the ball and he's followed through. Like, it's you still want a competitive and physical game. It is a contact sport. Accidents are going to happen. He's not gone off 2 feet. It wasn't as if he lost control of himself. It was, in my eyes, it was a good challenge. It's just timing. So it is weird.
I think, yes, I think that is a red card. I think that's probably always been a red card that Gusto won. Well, for at least as long as I remember watching football. The issue with that one is, I think you have to have some thought for player safety. I get it's a contact sport, but when you lunge in with that much force, they're basically just saying you can't get the man at all. It doesn't matter if you get the ball. And I think I've definitely seen players get. I remember Ricardo Carvalho getting sent off for not the same challenge because he's gone in straight on.
Yeah, but he used to jump in. Like,
yeah,
he used to be 2
Gusto
foot
has
in
jumped
the air,
in
jump
there,
in.
and he's not on the ground at all. So his whole weight flying through the air. So I get why Gusto was sent off. The only thing I got annoyed about on that one is the commentator just saying like, "Oh, I'm not sure he's got enough of the ball." And I'm like, he got all of the ball and kicked it into the other bloke.
That's my argument to it. Like, don't get me wrong, I understand what you're saying in player safety. I'm not saying player safety isn't important. Of course it is. But it's not like he's just caught the tip of the top of the ball. God, that's hard to say. And then gone over the top and completely like minuscule but amount of ball, and then is completely taken out of play. Like, he got the entirety of the ball. He made a brilliant connection with the ball.
With his trailing leg.
I think they need. I mean, don't get me wrong. Fair enough. You go yellow card.
It wasn't. He didn't get the ball with the leg that he was trying to get the ball with. He got it with the trailing leg.
Well, he still got the ball.
I know, but yeah, it wasn't a clean shot. That is not one that I'm going to get upset about. You're always going to understand that you're making you're giving the ref a decision to make there.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm not upset about it because, like I said, with the letter of the law, it's a red card. Like it, as soon as you saw it, he's got yellow, and then you see the replay going, nah, he's going to get a red. I'm just saying that I don't want to see certain aspects of the game taken out of it when it's due to timing, like a little minuscule timing more than anything else, because he's not gone in on the player. He's not gone in maliciously.
Yeah.
And that for me, I go, yeah, do you know what? It's a yellow card. Just be careful. That's what I'd like to see in that game. But I do understand the points of player safety and why it was a red card. Moving back to today's game, any other points that you would like to raise about today's game?
Yeah. Where was the foul on Brozier when he was running through and their players run 5 yards across him? Ball went past, I think Brozier flicked it. He starts running through and Diop just runs straight into him 5 yards and just blocks his path completely. Is that not a foul?
I've always thought it was, because at the end of the day, it's not American football. You can't deliberately block a player without actually attempting to go for the ball or near the ball. I mean, we do it a lot with blocks when you're shielding a ball out for a goal kick, right, or a corner, which I get. You're doing it, but you're not clattering into somebody at the end of the day. It's a block, and he's made no attempt for the ball. And this is the thing for me. I'm like, if you're not, I don't care if it's shoulder to shoulder. If you're not making an attempt to get the ball, and then I don't think it was even him that recovered the ball, so there was no shielding. So yeah, I don't really get it. I think VAR are a little bit scared at the moment with.
Well, that's not one that VAR can do anything about because it's probably not red.
No,
Although it could
do you
be
know
a
what?
red.
Do you know what? I forget that rule. I'm still in rugby mode brain when I hear about video. Honestly, when I hear video referee stuff, I always go back to rugby because rugby have had it for so long that they check everything.
Mm.
And in my mind, I'll be going, I do think actually like there's no reason why VAR official can't check something whilst the game's continuing if the referee doesn't see something and go after a certain amount of play, you then go, all right, you can't call that back. But it doesn't take long, some of that stuff to double check. But I guess they do want a free flowing game. They don't want stop starts. But in my eyes, that should be a free kick. If you're not going for the ball, you haven't then got the ball afterwards, then
I just want
that
to know
play.
what the fucking rules are.
I don't think many people know them. We've had this conversation. I think we had this conversation in the summer. Like
Several times.
well, they keep swapping and changing certain ones every
It's
bloody
not even
year.
that.
Just fucking stick to them. Stick to them for a few years, see if they actually work, and then no one will have a fucking problem.
The rule book puts it into the ref's interpretation. What the fuck do you mean it's the ref's interpretation? Surely everyone's coached on this is a foul, this is a foul, this isn't a foul. I don't understand how you can just leave what is a multi-million pound, probably billion-pound industry and go, just this fella that's 150 grand a year, yeah, he can just decide what happens in this fucking game with no real penalties, nothing, if they completely cock it up.
I think that's the thing for me as well. It's the what's it called? The punishments for the referees and the officials, if there are any, for them to be not available for a game, I just think is silly.
Yeah.
Just one game. Oh well, we're not gonna put them in this game. But because what was it? One of the officials, I think it was the referee from the Spurs Liverpool game, was the fourth official today for us.
I mean, effectively, you're going, right, you had really shit performance this week. Go on holiday for a week. What?
Paid.
You end up starting with...
Paid holiday.
Yeah. Well, you end up starting with a thing where there's always those few players that always get booked to the game before Christmas, get to their 5 bookings for that game before Christmas, so they'll be banned for Boxing Day. You're basically almost setting yourself up for one of those where it's like, I'll just have a shocker today. I'll be off next week. I'll get to spend Christmas with family.
I think it's because I think they still have to spend it with the team now. Most clubs do that to make sure they're eating what they're supposed to eat and they're not indulging in too much alcohol.
Who the refs are fucking spending that time with? They're not going in like,
no, true on the
sorry,
refs.
You've got to be fifth official.
But then think about it. Like even managers are getting booked now. And I think even managers are now getting, after you get a certain amount of bookings, you have to be in this. You get sent to the stand, a bit like a player does. But you can then still go down at half time and give a half time speech and then go back up.
That should be able to be appealed, if I'm honest.
But yeah, I do think officials get held in a higher untouchable situation, shall we say? Don't know what the phrase would be, but
if I fuck up at work, I get shouted at. If you fuck up at work, and they get paid significantly more than I do, so I think they should get shouted at if they fuck up. I think that's fair.
Well, no, I agree. I do agree, but I think the other argument too is they don't want to take the piss with suspending officials because A, they might then go to another league, and B, do they have enough officials at a higher level or a high caliber to step in?
I think it's more the premise of booking managers when they get upset with clear, obvious mistakes. Like Poch got booked against Brighton in the Carabao Cup. He saw one of them back on the monitor, saw that Jackson was not offside. Then he saw Broja in his own half get flagged. I think anyone's going to be pissed off in that situation.
I don't think he did anything like too badly either.
That was the
thing. That was the thing. I was like, all right, he's appealed or he's made his point. he's put his hands up in the air, but I don't think he went ballistic. It's not as if he ran up to the fourth official, got in the fourth official's face.
Yeah, ran on the pitch. He didn't really do anything.
They really are trying to. I think they really are trying to get dissent out of the game, which I get because it doesn't set the right tone for grassroots and especially the younger generation. So from that perspective, I do understand it, but also it's I mean, it's a fast-paced game. There's emotion in it. When you're doing exercise, you're doing sport, like I don't know, there's more testosterone flowing. There's all this other stuff going on. I can't think of chemicals.
Yeah.
I can't think of all the chemicals off the top of my head, but you are a bit more highly strung. And at the end of the day, you want a fair call for your team or for your own player. So yeah, you don't want to get rid of all the passion. So yeah.
I'm really glad that you've done that PA level. It's really helping our podcast out here. All the chemicals.
I didn't have time to prepare. There's a lot of big words in that. If it was from a coaching perspective, then I would have been able to do it a lot better. But it's not. So.
Okay.
So how you feeling?
I've got nothing. That's it. That's it. Good win. Happy with the performance of everyone but the referee. As usual. It's good. Fine. Happy with it. On to the next one. Let's
Are you feeling confident going into the next one? It was
not really. They're going to play a low block, counter attack us, but it's fine. There's Cole Palmer will have to thread a bit of magic. It's fine. We'll make it work. Just got to believe.
Well, I do think there's definitely a lot more belief now amongst Chelsea fans than what there was last week. So,
yeah. We've already got a goal a month wrapped up this month, which is good.
Got two.
We've got choice this month.
We do have a choice.
That's nice.
And it doesn't include a training video, which is nice.
Yeah. Take it.
Wicked. Well, in that case, thank you all for watching. Stay tuned for the Burnley away game pre-match analysis. And see you soon.